Rouse's is proud of the creativity and the unparalleled entertainment in New Orleans, and honored to highlight it with their sponsorship of Steppin Out on WYES.
Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
With a lifetime of passion for public television, we're pleased to help underwrite Steppin Out.
Please join us in supporting WYES TV.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tucker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hello.
New Orleans photographer Kasimu Harris. Hello,
Hey.
Kasimu. We'll be discussing his exhibit on Black-owned New Orleans bars, and lots to talk about there, of course. Welcome. And Mark Cave, he is the senior curator for the Historic New Orleans Collection, with some backstory info on the current exhibit commemorating the 75th anniversary of A Streetcar Named Desire. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Also with us, Alan Smason. Wonderful. Love the jacket.
Stella!
Stella, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and TheaterCriticism.com. Hello, Alan.
Hey.
Hi. Poppy, special deals on some local meals.
Well, it could be a little confusing to folks who look forward to Restaurant Week every year, because usually that comes in September. But that sort of caps off culinary in August, and culinary deals will be happening in August again. But we're going to have Restaurant Week next week here in New Orleans from the 20th until the 26th. And it's different from the Restaurant Week we're accustomed to. For one thing, there's not as many rules for the restaurants. So there's prices that vary between $45 and $65 basically for a 3-course meal. There are well over 65 restaurants participating.
And we're going to show a clip while you're talking about this, just to set the stage, too. Go ahead. Keep going, Poppy.
This will get everybody in the mood. All the fun that we have during Restaurant Week. So there's over 60 restaurants, and there'll be an emphasis this year on Louisiana seafood and locally acquired ingredients. So, as I said, most dinners 45 to 65, but my big pick for Restaurant Week is Antoine's, because they are having a $22 3-course lunch with choices like artichoke bisque, coco vin blanc, and bread pudding.
That's a
and
deal. Only
one day, Sunday the 26th, there is going to be a $38 brunch with shrimp regua, panade veal, and baked Alaska. Now, if Restaurant Week, the 20th through the 26th, wasn't enough, the Sazerac folks are jumping in, because after all, it was on June 23rd in 2008 that the Louisiana legislature designated Sazerac as the official drink of New Orleans. So this year, they are getting in a giving bent with a Feed the Second Line lounge in the lobby, where all week long you'll see folks like Big Chief Dowie, Wild Man Cuck, and Baby Doll Constance appearing, our culture bearers, to talk about what they do. But check this out. Across the country, contributions from Sazerac sales will be collected, and the Sazerac company is giving $1 for every bottle sold. But even better, remember, the Sazerac house is free, and they are going to give $1 for every visitor through June, up to $25,000. There'll be Herb St. bonbons from Piety and Desire, cocktail samples. It's really a great thing to do for free.
And definitely. It is such an enjoyable afternoon. I've done it twice so far now. Thank you, Poppy. Moving over to Ellen.
Well, Peggy, if you remember anything about your theater history, you'll know that men during Shakespeare's time played the roles of women. So perhaps it is more or less appropriate that women should be playing the roles of men in the latest version of the Bard's As You Like It. This is over at Tulane's New Orleans Shakespeare Festival, of course. Marty Sack's final season as the artistic director, and this time out, John Green and Tori Hayward of the Radical Buffoons have returned and stepped into the co-director's chairs with mixed results. The emphasis on this play revolves about the story of the brothers Orlando and Oliver and their sibling rivalry that sends Orlando into the magical woods of Arden and his love, Rosalind, into disguise as a man, Ganymede, and her cousin Celia in disguise as Alina. Several of the cast members play multiple roles, such as Pamela Roberts as two different dukes. There you see Monica Harris as the wrestler Charles, and two other male roles that she plays. But it all adds somewhat to the confusion in being able to follow the plot. Elizabeth Frenchie Faith, for instance, plays LeBeau, and Audrey is an example, a male and a female. Lynx Murphy as Jacques and Matthew Rates as Touchstone are very good in their roles, as is Casey Sims, the graduate from the UNO theater program, who plays, of course, Orlando. Kendra Unique and Layla Baydoun as Rosalind and Celia work well with each other. The main love story between Orlando and Kendra needed a little bit more work, I thought. And again, that's As You Like It, the New Orleans Shakespeare Festival, now through June the 25th at the Dixon Hall Annex. Now, last night I attended the opening of The Cuck. This is a play which is a modern uptake on Electra, the Sophocles play that everybody remembers of Greek tragedy fame. This is out in an outdoor location called the Treehouse. It's sort of a bit hard to find. Google or Apple map it, but don't forget to dress light to fight the heat. Sam Mayer, who wrote the play, is the grandson of advertising whiz Peter Mayer, everybody knows. Sam was my guest on the NOLA Theater Talk Show last week, but he could not have prepared me for this irreverent and really funny look at the classic Greek tragedy. The two acts are about 45 minutes each, with a 10-minute intermission. Bug sprays provided, but you might want to spray yourselves just to be on the safe side. Alexandria Miles there in the center plays Electra. She's a standout. I love that Greek chorus of Jordan Holden, Maddie Zins, and Mary Davis, too. Joshua James as the Pennant is also very good. You see him in the back with Paul Bro doing a really good job as Orestes, Electra's long-lost brother. That's Intramural Theater's The Cuck at the Treehouse now through June the 26th, and they do have a rain date in case they get a rain out, and that'll be on the 27th. And don't forget, there's 5 one-act plays, the best of them. These plays are by Lucy Faust, Stephanie Garrison, and Bradley Warshauer. It's now on over at Bryant Park, Fat Squirrel Productions gathering there right near the Crescent City Connection. So check that out. And by the way, they just announced, for those looking for some ridiculous entertainment in the heat of July, a Christmas in July group of 3 rom-coms. And they're going to be reading these live at Bryant Park on July the 11th, July the 18th, and the 25th, which are basically the Mondays that are not July the 4th in July.
Okay, so Bryant Park is on Tchoupitoulas.
Correct.
Okay. All right, great.
It's not a park, it's a building.
It's a building. Okay,
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Indoors.
Good to know. Okay, all right, good. Very good to know. Okay, yeah, Kasimu, of course, about what, now 2 years ago or so, you have this incredible exhibit, which you still have, but it was on Vanishing in New Orleans, Black-owned bars, and it was at the Ogden, but now it's moved to the Hilliard in Lafayette. But set the stage for us about that, because folks can go and take a ride to go and see it. But tell us what it was about in case folks missed it at the Ogden, please.
Right. We had, it was a few photos at the Ogden, and recently acquired photos for the Ogden. And we have a full show at the Hilliard Museum in Lafayette, Louisiana. And if you don't feel like driving anytime soon, Wilson Ave is presenting a bus ride. We're going to be leaving from the Ogden on July 16th, a Saturday, and taking a friendly bus ride, a fun bus ride with cocktails. We're going to have a fireside chat. We're going to have lunch, and we're going to have cocktails provided by Turning Tables. So we're really excited about this.
Yeah, well, let's see some of the images, and we'll sort of talk over them. But you have really dedicated a few years in doing this, haven't you?
I have. I feel like it's like a unwavering commitment. It's like a calling that I've had to preserving these bars and telling these stories that otherwise they would be towed from the grave. So this bar, we just saw the Sandpiper. Well, we're looking at the Sandpiper. I think it's closed right now. I believe it's undergoing renovations, and we hope that it reopens. But these iconic places, they usually close with little fanfare, and no one ever really wrote about these places. Like, this is Purple Rain. It was open for a long time. It was a home of the Golden Blades, Black Masking Indians, and now it looks like it's a residential area, residential home.
Well, many of these places, though, as you say in your backstory on this, were really spaces where members of the Black community and the social aid and pleasure clubs, that they could kind of congregate, especially around Mardi Gras, but year-round, too. It was a real place to go, almost like their Cheers, huh?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's a very universal theme of people going to places where they're familiar, they feel safe, and they have a good time. And for a lot of regulars, it becomes much more than a place to get drinks. It becomes part of their community. And, it's just fascinating for me. I grew up in New Orleans, but it's almost, I look at it almost as if I didn't grow up here and I'm seeing something for the very first time. That's how I feel every time I'm in one of these places.
Yes, and as I'm sure many folks will remember the TV series on HBO, Treme.
Right.
And I think that was perhaps for some folks locally, the first time that they heard some of the bars, like Bullets. I don't think that was a very well-known bar, and all of a sudden that was one of the hot places and still is. But for you to, cast a great spotlight on these, the first and last stop bar, how wonderful. And so let's talk some more about the bus trip. This sounds like it's going to be so much fun because there's reception, lunch, food, music, all kinds of things, huh?
Everything. I mean, everything you could want. And it's, this is within the tradition of the Black bars. I grew up seeing my parents go on bus trips, so why not do a bus trip? Bring a bunch of people together, have some cocktails on the bus, have some cocktails once we get there. But what better way to learn and honor something than to do it in a very enjoyable way? So it's definitely open to the public. And this is how you can find my work and my website.
Yeah. And not only a photographer, but also a writer. And my goodness, you've written for the New York Times as well as taken photos. You're busy with them. And NPR. I mean, the list is pretty long. Also Smithsonian. You've got a great website. And if someone wants to get to know them a little bit better, that's the way. And of course, those photos are available, aren't they?
Oh yeah, come on by to the studio, send me an email, and we'll have some bourbon or maybe a Sazerac.
Woohoo! I like your marketing strategy.
Yeah.
And a proud Warren Easton grad. Ho-ho, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very good.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And now we're going to take a streetcar downtown to 520 Royal, Mark. And actually, folks who watch our show know that we have talked about this exhibit. It's the 75th anniversary of Streetcar Named Desire, the play, and then later the movie a few years later. But there's so much to talk about, and you've got so many cool things there, including Vivian Lee's, her Oscar. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the stories maybe folks don't know.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't know that we have one of the most significant Tennessee Williams collections in the world. We've been gathering material for over 20 years, and back in 2001 we purchased what was at the time the largest Tennessee Williams collection in private hands in the world. And so we've been building our collection, and we have thousands of items. This is a picture of Tennessee's mom with his sister Rose and himself. Williams was probably one of our most autobiographical playwrights, and understanding the family story and history is really important to understanding his plays. Of course, his sister Rose had some mental issues and was lobotomized in 1943. And, Williams felt some guilt over that. He had left home and left Rose in a very difficult domestic situation. And so the guilt over what happened to Rose haunts him throughout his plays. He was extremely close to his grandparents, and we have an amazing collection of items related to them. This is a great photo of Williams on the porch with his grandmother, and he posted these little snapshot photographs in a copy of Grand, which is a tribute to his grandmother that was published in 1964. And he placed this in a suitcase, which he gave to the caretaker of his Dumaine Street address in the French Quarter. Apparently he got drunk one night and put these special items in the suitcase and told the man, Victor Campbell, that he could have it. And that book with about his grandmother was one of those items in that suitcase.
Well, what you all have amassed in terms of items, Elia Kazan, of course, the director of Streetcar, his notebook, talking about not only the play and then later the movie, very unusual that he would direct both. And I continue to be amazed by some of these items, the handwriting and the thinking about what he wanted to do. And there you see it, and you've made it very easy to look at. And also costumes, and this is the logo to the overall exhibit. But you have this full realm of just things that are mesmerizing.
I know. I think Kazan's notebook is one of the most amazing things that we have in the exhibition, because it tells you how he saw these different characters, where he kind of created this psychological backstory for each of the characters. And it was a way for him to sort of bring dimension to these characters that Williams created in sort of a two-dimensional written word. And of course, he also directed the film, which was a very difficult task to translate a play to a film during that time, because there were a lot of censorship issues. For the film, they had to eliminate any reference to homosexuality, which is an important part of the story. And also they had to eliminate the rape scene to some extent. I think Kazan did a great job of implying the rape, but not necessarily showing it. And also Stanley, in the end, had to be punished for the rape of Blanche, which really changed the ending. And I think of all the changes, that was the one that Williams was most disappointed about. And of course, there's been lots of adaptations of the play, both on the foreign stage. It's been translated into other mediums like ballet and the opera. There was an amazing opera written by Andre Previn that premiered in San Francisco a while back.
And the New Orleans Opera did it. And unfortunately, Mr. Previn was supposed to come and actually see it, but he had a health issue. I remember that very distinctly. Yeah.
And so it's great. It's a wonderful exhibition, and I hope you all can come. It closes July 3rd. So
and it's free.
It's free.
And don't forget the gift shop.
I know. It's great.
Thank you so much, Mark. Great to see you. And back over to Poppy, actually.
Well, if you are not ready to give up all the fun from last weekend at Nowfee, all you have to do is drive across the causeway, because there's a whole lot more of that going on at A Taste of Covington. Now, this is an annual event that has been being put on in St. Tammany Parish for several years, and it's been happening all month, but it's really heating up now. This Saturday is the Festa del Vino at the Covington Firehouse. Now, this is a premium event. There's only 85 tickets in total. There are still tickets available with food, lots of wine, music, treats from the English tea room. It's going to be great. And then they have a new event on the following Saturday, and that's going to be the Grand Toga Tasting at the Southern Hotel. You don't have to come in a toga, but that's encouraged with contests and such. The food is going to be catered by the Gloriette, so it's going to be divine with cheeses and seafood, meats and desserts. Best idea, if you ask me, get a room. Stay over the weekend so that you can attend the grand finale brunch, which happens on Sunday. There's a Bloody Mary and mimosa bar. There's a biscuit bar. There's griots and smoked salmon bagels, lots of wonderful champagne. So next weekend, plan a big time on the North Shore, because it's there to be had.
Absolutely, and the Southern Hotel is really precious, isn't it?
It's
very nice
very
detail.
elegant.
Yep,
It's very
yes,
lovely.
indeed. And Alan, you know, it used to be that during the summer there really wasn't much theater in New Orleans, but that's not the case anymore.
We are in a maelstrom right now. We have a lot of openings. Now, there's openings aplenty, I can tell you right now, but right this week, coming up, I'm going to be having, you know, some more reviews that I'm going to be ready. They'll be ready for next week. First off, Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play, written by Jocelyn Bayou. That production will run through June the 26th. That's at Marquette Theater on the Loyola University campus. Again, really nice opportunity there for the NOLA project to present that. And we just heard also about a week or so ago that Crescent City Stage is going to have a couple of productions at Marquette Theater as well. So that's good news. I'll also have a review, Peggy, for Choir Boy, which is opening. This is by Terrell Alvin McRaney, who, of course, won the Oscar for Moonlight, but he was nominated for Best Play in 2019. This won 2 Tony Awards for sound design and a special Tony for the musical arrangements by Jason Michael Webb. So if they pattern themselves after the Broadway, this should be really an exciting production that Le Petit is going to have on tap to June the 26th. 2 other stage productions of note will be opening this week. First of all, at BB Stage Door Canteen, We'll Meet Again, the blonde bombshells of World War II with Hannah Rochelle and Bryce Slocum, supported by music director Tom Hook. And then the regional premiere of Bandstand. That opens at Summer Lyric Theater's Dixon Hall. This should be an outstanding production, Peggy. I missed it on Broadway, but I saw it via free streaming during the COVID shutdown, and I have to tell you, I watched it multiple times. Beth Level was in it, just a wonderful production. Laura Osnes was incredible. Do not miss this production. If you have any show to see this year at Tulane Summer Lyric, Bandstand, brand new, is the one to see. And before I leave, just one last point I want to make. The Andre Previn Streetcar Named Desire was shown in New Orleans second, right after San Francisco. We got the jump on another opera company, much to their disgust.
And actually at the premiere, this is the more New Orleans trivia, but it was around the time of the Tennessee Williams Festival, and Dakin, his brother, his young brother, his baby brother, was actually at the opening performance. So yeah, all kinds of New Orleans and Tennessee, absolutely. Thank you, Alan. And now time for our picks of the week. Poppy.
Back on the wine theme, run to the phone. Make the reservations now for Everything's Coming Up Rosé at Arno's Restaurant. That's going to happen next Friday. These things sell out quick, quick, quick. It's just been announced. There's a special menu, specially priced rosé, and a kickin' DJ will be playing. It's going to be a great Friday lunch.
All right, thank you. Kasimu.
Go to my website, kasimuharris.com.
Do not miss.
But also, I just recently published something in Stranger's Guide. The most recent issues, all dedicated to New Orleans. And if you don't get that, you can get the last issue of 64 Parishes. I also have a photo essay and a written essay about Vanishing Black Bars in that too.
All right, thank you. Mark.
Our Tennessee Williams annual review. Each year we host the Scholars Conference as part of the Tennessee Williams Festival, and the scholars contribute articles to this, and it's much more than just an academic journal. The articles are really fascinating and interesting. This issue has a sort of a gallery from our streetcar exhibition of, pages of photographs and items from the exhibition. It also includes a great article on the first Soviet production of Streetcar in 1970, an article about various Brazilian productions of Streetcar. So it's a fascinating issue and very readable, and I think anyone would enjoy it.
Absolutely, and this is done by the Historic New Orleans Collection, huh?
It is. Our publications department does an amazing job with it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And Alan.
Peggy, for those of you who can't afford a ticket for Hamilton, there's a way to get tickets for just $10. It's their lottery. Now, if you've missed the opportunity to go on this week, there are a couple of other weeks still left, because every Friday from 10 a.m. till 12 noon the following Thursday, you can enter. And then after 12 noon, of course, they'll notify people, the winners, between 12 noon and 4 p.m. They've got 2 hours to claim their seats at $10 each. That's what I call Ham for Ham. That's a Hamilton for $10 for Hamilton. It costs you nothing to enter, by the way, and you can enter multiple shows. I suggest you use the app on your phone, but you can also do it through your desktops or laptops. And if I win the lottery, Peggy, I'll see you at the theater.
Alan, wasn't this a tradition started for the New York production because so many people, especially early on, couldn't get in?
Correct.
And also the tickets were very expensive.
Right. The very first show I saw of Hamilton, front row, direct center, row B, because row A was all the lottery winners.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, wow. But I mean, they're very pricey tickets. I remember hearing like tickets for $500 or something like that. Right?
The ticket for the front row that I got, the original cast, was $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that was cheap for some people.
Dear Diary, huh?
Yes.
Dear Diary. Well, and this Hamilton production is going to be in through July 4th. So how wonderful is that?
Yeah.
It's a lot, and that says something I think about the New Orleans theater market in terms of the fact that there are going to be that many here. Don't you think?
Keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah,
maybe I'll get a ticket.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alan. And now time for my picks of the week. Over 25 paintings by artist Brenda Dell are now on view through June in the lobby of the Oxnard Medical Center right there on Jefferson Highway. And landmarks such as St. Louis Cathedral and also of horses and even cats, too. Congratulations, Brenda Dell. I love her horse paintings especially. Jason Barry's film, City of a Million Dreams, based on his book, very beautiful book, opens today at the Broad Theater. The documentary, which he was working on for over, I think, almost 20 years, focuses on New Orleans' second line and jazz funeral traditions and includes our pal, musician historian, Dr. Michael White, and also the late, very missed journalist, Deborah Cotton. Go to broadtheater.com for tickets. And on Sunday at 2 p.m. at the New Orleans Museum of Art, the New Orleans Opera Association and the group Opera Creole present a tribute to 19th century New Orleans African-American composers, including Edmond Dede. They have spent many years documenting Mr. Dede's work. It's really amazing. By the way, free admission all day at the New Orleans Museum of Art in honor of the Juneteenth celebration, which of course commemorates the end of slavery in America. Free admission even to the Nefertari exhibit too. But you are encouraged to register for tickets at NOMA, noma.org. Next Thursday at 7 o'clock on the banks of Bayou St. John near the Magnolia Bridge across from Cabrini High, voodoo priestess Sally Ann Glassman will lead a head washing ceremony, a kind of voodoo baptism, paying homage to legendary priestess Marie Laveau. Note artist Ricardo Pustanio's sculpture you just saw of Marie Laveau. And I have to tell you, and that of course is the eve of the feast day of St. John, a very important date in the voodoo calendar. And you're encouraged to wear white. Also, I just wanted to say, if you're driving around New Orleans, you cannot miss just to marvel at the blooming of the crepe myrtle trees in so many colors this month. It's one of those trees you tend to take for granted. Happy, happy Father's Day, and thank you all very much for being with us, my pals, and thank you for watching. Good night.
Thank you.
Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
With a lifetime of passion for public television, we're pleased to help underwrite Steppin Out.
Please join us in supporting WYES TV.
Rouse's is proud of the creativity and the unparalleled entertainment in New Orleans and honored to highlight it with their sponsorship of Steppin Out on WYES.